for all the looks they're going to see today.
Moriah's put up some big point totals this year, but beat Haldane just 6-0 in the semis to get here. Strable, the starting quarterback, takes the ball looking to pass on first down. In the flat, caught by Sargent. And about a gain of 4.
Great job by Strable. You know, pressure coming right at him. And he just stood tall in there, found his receiver. Nice gain. Nice way to start out their drive.
4 yards on the catch and run. Second down, 6.
Strable, when you talk to the head coach, Don Teaser from Moriah, he admitted that Strable struggled to begin this season. Big part of why Moriah dropped their first 2 games of the year before winning their last 9, but he's really turned things around, and the team has gone in the same direction. Bagor wrapped up after a gain of 1 into the pile, and a 3rd down and 4 for the Vikings out of Section 7 against the Wolfpack, playing defense, the Section 6 school.
Yeah, this CSP team only existed for 4 years when they brought these 3 schools together, and Coach Harper's done an amazing job. You know, these are right next to each other. They're former rivals, but bring them together for one mission to go on this fabulous run, it's amazing.
On 3rd down, Moriah comes up short. Again, it was Bagor on the carry. A smaller running back who's known for his good vision, unable to get the necessary yardage on those last couple of run plays, and it's a 4th and 3.
Great play by Eklund, getting in the backfield, getting off his block, and making the play sort of from behind. That was sheer force of will from him. He's been big for them all year. He's going to need to be big tonight.
Playing middle linebacker. Nice punt by Sargent. They got some pressure on him as well, and that one takes a healthy bounce and is all the way out at the 24-yard line. Excellent punt by Jaron Sargent. And we'll take a quick break here with the score 0-0 early on in the Class D championship game.
Just a reminder, kids who participate in high school activities tend to go a little farther than those who don't. Take part. Get set for life.
Welcome back, 1st and 10 for CSP. And Overton running right gets just a 1-yard gain.
Now, this is an unfamiliar position for the CSP team, especially in the last few weeks. I believe they scored on 3 of their first 4 drives last week, and they had no trouble moving the ball. Now they're having a little trouble. How will they handle this adversity?
Stack the right side of the formation right here. And now it's Barmore, the tall 6'4" target in motion. Pass over the middle, connection right there with Meter. And a 1st down for CSP. Good gun right there by Hinsdale.
CSP having a lot of success early on throwing over the middle.
Meter, though, shaken up after the play.
Yeah.
You get all the way here to the state championship game, the last thing you want to see. Another quick timeout here, 2nd drive of the game for CSP. It's still scoreless.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
Round of applause for Chance Meter as he comes off for Clymer, Sherman, Panama, senior tight end who just had the 1st down catch.
17 catches, 148 yards, and 4 TDs heading into today's game for Meter.
So he'll come off, but his play gets the 1st down for the Wolfpack. Beatman was in motion. Handoff Eklund. Eklund busts through the tackle and the hole, and he's breaking loose down the sideline all the way down to the 30.
If that doesn't tell you what kind of player Derek Eklund is, I don't know what will. He fought through a couple of tackles. He almost a horse collar you saw towards the end, but he got through and he broke it for a big gain. That was the play this Wolfpack team needed.
Mark him down a couple yards short of the 30. 33-yard pickup right there. So the first threat of the game for either team. 1st and 10. Hinsdale. Short pass connection right there made with Zavon Overton. Good coverage by Swan in addition to Gonzalez making the tackle right there after a gain of 2.
We just saw a few plays to the outside. Expect for CSP to go inside as this Moriah defense has to widen out. Maybe it's Eklund or Beatman up the middle. They have Beatman in the backfield sort of on an angle. I wouldn't be surprised if they go up the middle.
Counterplay, fumble! Beatman lost the ball and recovered by Moriah. Sam Ganji comes up with it. It fell right into his lap for the Vikings. First turnover of the game.
Well, the Vikings were expecting that run up the middle. They got right on Beatman, and they knocked the ball out as soon as they got to him, and it fell right into his hands. Big play for Moriah. That's exactly what they needed.
What a play by the Vikings defense.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you needed. Nice momentum, and now you have a chance. You can air it out deep. If you want to send Sargent deep, this is usually maybe you go play action. All the momentum is on the Viking side.
1st and 10 from the 38 coming off of the fumble, and there is a penalty flag as the play clock hits 0. I don't know if you got to look at who popped that ball loose. Know that it was recovered by Ganji again from Moriah. Strable lobs it to the outside. One-handed attempt by Sargent, but it's incomplete. Sargent's known for his good hands. He's capable of making catches like that. But perhaps Strable would have wanted a little bit more on that ball.
He has 27 catches, 609 yards, 9 TDs. He also has 11 interceptions on defense, a serious ball hawk. Real quick, this Moriah team has been to the state finals twice, 2008 and 2009, both times losing to Section 6 teams, Maple Grove in 2008 and then Randolph in 2009. Outscored by a total of 96-7.
Looking to turn things around on their state title game history, but brought down in the backfield was Strable for a huge loss. And that was Chance Meter, who's back in healthy and making a sack after he got banged up on the offensive drive. All the way back to the 27.
If you're a defensive line coach, that's exactly how you want to get pressure. It was on the outside and the inside. If you do just one, it's easy for the quarterback to either step up or escape. But because it came from both ends, he couldn't really do anything, and that's why he went down for a sack.
3rd and 21. Moriah looking to break one loose here, or at least just help the field position for the upcoming punt, if anything. Screen pass. A little bit of space for Begor. Looking to turn the corner, and that was close. You mentioned a horse collar potential earlier. That would have been a big break for Moriah to get an automatic first down, but no horse collar was called. Good awareness by the player who had the back of Begor's jersey to not really yank too hard there, and it'll be 4th down.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you talked about, I was thinking the same thing. You were looking at a horse collar, but no call, and CSP will get the ball back. The key will be just responding to adversity. You know, Moriah was in a 6-0 game. They didn't score till late in the 3rd quarter. that might be something CSP will have to be prepared for, more of a back-and-forth affair.
CSP punt return to the 42.
Last week, there were 7 members of the Wolfpack found the end zone. A very dynamic offense through the air, on the ground. As I said, they'll just need to figure out how they fight through this adversity. Once they do, I think they'll be fine.
Moriah unable to take advantage of a forced turnover. Offense went backwards, if anything. And CSP right back with the ball and friendly field position. Start of their 3rd drive of the game. Following his blockers really nicely. They give the ball, at an extra shove after the play, as it was Eklund taking it to the sideline for an 11-yard first down, but we're going to see about this flag.
We'll see. That could have gone either way, and Sargent was happy, but that could have gone either way, the way they were pushing.
Officials talking this one out.
After the play, we have a dead ball, personal foul on the offense, 15 yards from the end of the run, which resulted in a first down. It'll be 1st and 10 after enforcement.
So just mark that play all the way back now to the 38, but still 1st and 10. Well, so far the yards have been coming easier for CSP, but been a couple of mistakes. The fumble and now a big penalty negating a first down pickup.
Yeah, that's something that Coach Harper will need to fix in the locker room, or probably before then, or at least for him, hopefully before then.
Yeah, we got a while till they get to the locker room, so better fix it soon. Over the middle, intercepted, the 12th pick of the year for Sargent, and he's down at the 46. Flag, though, in the backfield. Let's hold on. Holding on the offense. Interception for Sargent will stand.
That's exactly what I saw on film the other night. This kid has a nose for the football. No matter where it's thrown, if it's not on point to your receiver, he will find a way to get it, and he just made CSP pay there.
Well, you said he runs the receiver's route
Holding.
for him.
Offense, number 64. Penalty is declined. First down.
It's really kind of shown in the fact that Sargent offensively has 9 touchdowns on the season, yet he's got 12 picks on defense. He's sometimes better at catching the other team's passes. In fact, often better at that, as good as he is on the offensive side of the field. So 2 turnovers already. Can Moriah take advantage? Just still in the first quarter. Sargent now in motion, taps the line as he goes by. Flag down on the snap. Bagor shakes free and is twisted down for a first down. 10-yard gain, but a flag deep in the backfield like that would not be a good indication for the offense. Maybe an illegal motion or an illegal formation. Illegal shift, it looks like.
And, now you talk about making mistakes. Now Moriah makes a big mistake. Put yourself behind the chains after getting that big turnover. That's not how you want to start this drive.
Tough to know what to make of this game in the early
Legal
going.
motion, offense, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Kind of just looks like 2 teams that are looking for their first state title, trying to get used to this environment right now.
Yeah, it's certainly, and you got a lot of seniors on the team, but first time here, first time this program's ever been here. That's something in of itself
for
is
CSP.
A lot for CSP.
Yeah, as you said, a couple of previous appearances a while ago in the 2000s decade for Moriah. The same looking formation. Pass is looped over to Sargent, who scampers towards the sticks and has the first down.
Again, Sargent, he had enough space on the motion. He wasn't quite picked up, and he's able to get the first down.
You know what? They marked him back. The officials were spotting the ball initially towards the marker, but they actually went and corrected it and said Sargent stepped out at the 49.
Yeah, that's about a 5-yard, loss there.
Did not look like where they were initially marking that along the sideline, but instead It'll be a 2nd and 5, and a good job responding to the penalty. Well, Sargent's been quite a weapon on both sides, as advertised. Oh, driven down. Begor is leveled by Overton.
And I believe there was defense, and it may have been Eklund who got on the backfield first to sort of slow him down and sort of set up the hit there. But that's a big hit, and that's got the CSP crowd going.
Begor is such a talented player, but size is not on his side. So if you can square him up, he'll go down like that. Good job holding on to the ball there. 3rd and 5, a big one late in the first quarter. Moriah looks to take advantage of their second forced turnover. Strable under pressure, lobbing it up for Sargent. He's open, tiptoeing down the sideline. Incomplete. He had the ball, but the ruling is he was out of bounds.
Again, great pressure by that defensive line, forcing an early throw. Strable, if maybe he had a little bit more time, he would have been able to have a more calm throw, would have been inbounds or at least easier to catch, but great job by the defensive line. They made that play there.
Looked like Sargent might be able to come up with that ball in bounce, as difficult of a catch as that one was. And there's a flag as well. So the play wasn't going to hold up, I think, regardless, as we'll see this go against the offense, it looks like.
Was it in the backfield? I didn't.
It looked like some type of, based on what the official was saying, maybe a chop block.
Chop block on the offense. 15-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
So they decide to keep it on the chop block. It's a interesting call to keep it, and you stay a 3rd down. Could have went to 4th, but I see Coach Harper's decision just to pull him back and see if he can get better field position. I don't know about you, AJ, if you see it that way as well. It'll be 3rd and 20 as we take care of a few things.
Yeah, sorry, we're just talking about some of the post-game ceremonies. 3rd and very long for Moriah. Strable lobs it up, looking down the far sideline for Swan, incomplete.
That was, I believe, I see, these numbers are hard to see. I think that's Meter again, who made the play in the backfield. Yeah, that's Chance Meter, who got to Strable in the backfield, forcing the errant throw. Again, this defensive line has been huge for CSP this game.
Another punt coming up. And a whistle before the snap got off. CSP so far, punt, fumble, pick. Moriah, punt, punt, punt on their 3 drives so far.
Prior to snap, false start, offense, number 3. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And for both teams, penalty, penalty, penalty in the first quarter here.
Yeah, you could tell the nerves are starting to get to both of these programs. You know, 2 teams who don't have a lot of experience here, still getting used to what's going on. You know, long trip. I think 1 or 2 of these teams probably stayed here overnight. So, you know, you just got to get back to the game, realize you're still playing a football game.
High, short punt. Fair catch called for. Ended up having some distance on it down to the 36-yard line. 32-yard punt with no return right there. So 2 straight drives in a row. Moriah, after CSP, probably with a couple of turnovers, not making Ty Harper very happy. And then Don Teaser probably not thrilled about going backwards on 2 straight drives after forcing those turnovers.
No, you hope your team, as I said, come into this game, and see what they can do. You have Hinsdale, quarterback. Maybe they give it back to him, see how he responds after throwing that interception earlier on the previous drive.
Big tackle by Mike Rollins, who led Moriah in tackles in their semifinal win over Haldane. And no gain.
You know, their biggest play on so far has been their toss to the outside. That time Moriah had it sniffed out and Eklund had to go inside, and there was nothing there. You wonder, now CSP has to find a play off of that toss play to get yardage downfield.
Eklund now spread out, and he comes back in motion. Beatman stays back to block. Hinsdale looks to run. Brought down for a short gain. Good pursuit defensively for Moriah.
Great play by that defense. I believe they had all 11 guys in the box there, and CSP called a pass play, but their guys went out and they covered it well. That's why Hinsdale had to go up and just take a short gain.
And Harris making the stop there for Moriah. On third down. Pass is incomplete, intended for Barmore.
Pass intended for Barmore.
Have not been able to get Barmore very involved yet. The number 2 on the Moriah side, Sargent's been a little more active so far. Their top receiving threat. And so it's fourth down.
Yeah, Barmore had a huge 55-yard touchdown. It was a highlight reel catch. He just went up and grabbed it because he's 6'4", so you can do that kind of stuff when you're that tall, and went down for a big gain. He had a few big catches last game.
Short punt picked up by Blaze, running straight up the middle to the 46. When Moriah takes over after just a 27-yard punt, and this will be some of the best field position of the game for Moriah, despite a couple of the forced turnovers. This is a prime drive start opportunity here off of a punt.
So what have we seen so far of the CSP defense? Their most successful part has been their defensive line. They've been getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. A way to subvert that is run a draw play. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see a draw play up the middle, maybe take this defensive line off its heels a little bit.
Handoff up the middle. Bagor, this time he's the one driving forward. Able to run over a little bit Hunter Cooper and take it all the way into CSP territory to bring up second down and 4. This is the 8th drive of the first quarter.
Wow, that's a lot.
Scoreless 0-0.
We're not even in the second quarter yet.
The junior quarterback hands off. Bagor to the second level. He is down at the 38. Big pickup right there.
Very decisive run by Bagor, seeing the hole, finding it, and just going right through it, not trying to dance around to the outside for more space. No, he saw his hole. Just get your yardage. It's a very solid gain, and that's exactly, if you're a coach, what you want out of your running back.
To the 37 it goes. 1st and 10. Furthest drive of the game for Moriah so far. Another handoff, and the blocking starting to pick up for Moriah. Blaze this time breaking free straight up the middle for an 11-yard gain.
And it's the same play. They go off to that right side. They like the matchups over there between their guard and their tackle on the right side. CSP needs to figure out a way to change up their formations or maybe flip guys around so they don't have that as easy of a matchup.
Big chunk plays all of a sudden for Moriah's run game. Why mess with what's working? But Blaze is brought down this time by Beatman. One of his counterparts. No gain. 2nd and 10.
I mean, he just kind of snuck in underneath the tackle and made the play. That was, that wasn't even power. He just got lower and sort of found the legs to bring him down. As a defensive lineman, you're asked just to bring him down. Who says you have to do it a certain way?
Last year, Moriah lost to the eventual state champ, Cambridge, in regionals. This year, looking to win their first. Strable has to roll out, breaks a tackle, turns up the field. Flag is down in the backfield. Strable all the way to the first down marker, but another flag is down.
And that CSP defense was all over him. That you just got to keep it outside contained if you're them. Luckily, I think they might get a holding call that'll help them out. But if you're Ty Harper, you want your defensive end more to the outside to prevent that kind of run.
Well, every potential big play in this first quarter, it's felt like has either been a turnover or if it's an offensive play reversed by penalty.
Holding offense, number 59. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay, second down.
And just like that, look at how that
My
changes
whistle, my whistle.
the complexion of this drive.
All you need, yeah, if you CSP big stop and then the penalty, 2 plays, this is a different game.
Moriah's been relying on the run game, but now I don't know if you can really do that when it's 2nd and 24. Strable rolls all the way out. Look out from behind. The ball is loose. CSP recovers the fumble. Recovered by Mitchell Hovey. And a drive that got towards the red zone winds up with a strip sack all the way back in Moriah territory. Flag on the field involving perhaps a celebration. I think maybe a player being penalized for taking his helmet off. Is my best guess at that one.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I gotta say, if they keep this flag, I don't like this call. If this penalty,
maybe they're picking
is
it up.
upheld. I wouldn't like the call, and I'll explain why. If they have a ruling. Yeah, they are going to stick with the penalty. Here's why I don't like that call. Because the player was coming towards his own bench, celebrating with his own bench and fans.
Yeah,
nowhere near the opposing team. If it was on him taking his helmet off, he was almost at his own sideline. And if it wasn't that, I don't know what it could have been, because he was all the way towards his own bench and own fan base, not taunting the opponent. I think that's kind of a little bit overbearing from the officiating crew, in my opinion.
Well, that was another great play by the defensive line, coming in, making
After
the sack.
Play,
and
we have unsportsmanlike conduct on number 20. 15 yards and a first down. Another foul of this nature from number 20, and he will disqualify himself from further participation.
As I was talking about, the defensive line making another big play. I think it was Hoovy who recovered it. There was maybe it was Meter who made the big hit to knock the ball out. And again, this defensive line has been amazing for CSP.
Loss of 1 on first down.
So now if you're CSP, the only play you had working was the toss, and they sniffed it, and Moriah sniffed it out the last time. So the question is, what are you going to do? You're going to try going downfield at Barmore more, keep going over the middle? Do you run inside?
Could be the final play of the first quarter. Screen pass. Overton to the 35. Still going down inside the 30.
Or do that. That works too. Nice screenplay. Overton, once he caught the ball, he was just doing what he had to do to broke about, 3 tackles before getting 10 yards, and broke a few more before getting deep into Moriah territory.
29-yard line is where the ball is spotted. Zavon Overton with 2 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Watch them go deep here. Moriah playing pretty close to the line of scrimmage.
Final play of the quarter. Fake the screen, going deep, open man. The dive incomplete. That could have been 6 right there to end the first quarter. Perfectly designed play by the CSP Wolfpack, but the connection could not quite be made from Hinsdale to Overton. So that ends the first quarter. CSP threatening, but after a penalty and turnover-filled first quarter, the score is still 0-0.
Outstanding tools in concussion management. Visit Impact.
Coaches teach your kids to dream. Coaches teach your kids to overcome. Coaches teach your kids good sportsmanship. Coaches teach your kids proper technique. But who teaches your coaches?
Welcome back. Second quarter about to get underway. Francis back, AJ Cannell on NFHS. And it'll be Clymer, Sherman, Panama out of Section 6 here in this Class D New York State Championship football game with a 2nd and 10. Hinsdale under pressure, but it's a screen pass, and that is snuffed out. Beatman is brought down behind the line. Alex Laro in on the play.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do if you're your middle linebacker. Don't go with your defensive lineman. Stay back and sniff out the screen, and they got him for a big loss. That's the play that Moriah needed at this moment.
Defenses have been able to buckle down once the ball has gotten close to the periphery of the red zone. 3rd and 13. Deep towards the front of the end zone. Caught! Barmore! Touchdown, CSP!
We talked about Barmore, 6'4". Did that look like a 6'4" wide receiver? Yes, it did. Just perfectly placed ball by Hinsdale. This kid's only 6 foot, but he makes, and he's not 6'4" like you see most of them, but he prepares to make up for it. A great kid, a great throw over the middle. You couldn't have asked for a better throw if you're Coach Harper on a big play.
First quarter featured a lot of stalling offense, penalties, turnovers. Second quarter, a big offensive fireworks display at the very start of it. 32-yard touchdown reception for Barmore. And we'll take the quick break, 7-0 CSP. Welcome back here with Dr. Robert Zayas, the Executive Director of the New York State Public High School Athletic Association. AJ Cannell back with you. Really exciting start to the second quarter, and it's a great time of year for you guys, obviously.
It really is. This is the culmination of a very busy November for our State High School Athletic Association. We started off actually in late October with the girls tennis championships, and we've had a busy month so far with girls volleyball, girls and boys soccer, and cross-country state championships, field hockey. It's just been a very busy month.
Sargent has to dive just to keep that ball out of the reach of CSP, so Moriah's going to start around the 25-yard line for their first down. And, you know, what does that mean for your institution, your offices this time of year when things get so busy and so hectic? Kind of what's your day-to-day?
You know, our day-to-day is just, I think this is probably our 21st consecutive day working as a State High School Athletic Association staff, but this is the fun time of the year for us. We get the opportunity to be out and about with the membership, actually working on things that are positively impacting kids, which is always a wonderful thing to be part of.
1st and 10 for Moriah from the 20. And it's a short pickup for Dylan Begor. And that has to be, when you talk about sort of the central mission of what you're doing, you mentioned just making a positive impact on as many people as possible. And I think that's, when you think about high school sports, that's kind of the end goal here.
It certainly is. I mean, we have 600,000 kids that participate in athletics within our association amongst the 786 schools that we have that are members of our association. we're constantly looking for ways to increase participation and really increase the benefit of participation for all those student athletes.
2nd and 9. Good job working towards the outside right there for Braden Swan. And, you know, I'm sure it's a thrill for you to see it all kind of culminate and come together in an environment like this throughout this entire weekend in a place like the Carrier Dome.
It really is. I mean, to give kids the opportunity to play in a venue like this is really something that they strive for. On August 13th, all the kids started football season. All those teams, over 500 of them, had the goal of playing on this day in this venue. So to watch their faces when they walk in to the Carrier Dome is really special.
3rd down and 4. Moriah looking to respond to the first touchdown of the game for CSP. Pressure off the edge. Strabel's in trouble. Brought down. Another sack. This one logged by Mitchell Hovey, who recovered that last fumble. And so it is 4th and long now coming up for Moriah. And I think it's been a combination, kind of reading a lot of the press clippings and the interviews of all the coaches and players who have come here. It seems like a combination of course, they want to stay hungry and they're looking to win these games, but every person that's been interviewed has kind of indicated one way or another that they're really happy to be here and just express their gratefulness that they get this opportunity.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, like I said, when you see those kids get off the bus and they get the opportunity to walk into the Carrier Dome, some of them for the very first time, their eyes light up. It's a special experience for them that I think they'll never forget.
Well, once again, as that punt by Sargent goes out of bounds at the 42-yard line, Dr. Robert Zay is the Executive Director of the New York State Public High School Athletic Association. Thank you for taking a couple minutes and joining us, and we're looking forward to a great weekend and a great season of championships.
Appreciate the NFHS Network being here. This is a big deal for our association.
Sideline
For the very first time
CSP,
now, we have a
first
global
warning.
audience because of the NFHS Network. Always in the past, when we had the opportunity to provide these games, it was through Spectrum, but you needed to have Spectrum cable in order to watch them. Now we have people all over the world tuning in to watch these games, not just football, but field hockey, girls swimming, cross country. Really special for our association, even more special for those kids.
And those that are watching and listening right now know that because they're listening from all sorts of different places. Robert, thank you so much again for your time. We welcome Francis back onto the broadcast after that punt, and a 1st and 10 CSP going backwards right now as they have wrapped up for a loss right there. Eklund.
I was going to say before the play happened, CSP clearly has all the momentum after that big 3-and-out drive. They got another sack, and you could tell this crowd was going down here for CSP. I think they could be in store. Maybe that's what gets the wheels going for the Wolfpack.
Pump fake, same play we saw towards the end of the quarter. This time, it's intercepted by Swan. Flag is down, but that's after the interception. There's also a flag in the backfield potentially before, so we'll see on that. But looked like Hinsdale was hit as he threw. Really, that one could have been hauled in by either Sargent or Swan. That ball was just up in the air, hanging up there for either one to grab it. But it all depends on what this golden laundry is going to stand for.
Holding offense, number 5. That penalty is declined. After the interception, we have a block in the back on the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It'll be 1st down.
Well, we get it all there, the story of the game in one play right there with a key turnover. Again, the 3rd turnover of the game forced by Moriah, yet as they return the ball, a penalty marking them back and giving them a tougher road to taking advantage of the interception. But got to think at some point here, Moriah has to figure out a way to capitalize on all these turnovers. Their 2nd interception, 3rd turnover forced.
They got to figure out a way to start throwing the football deeper downfield. They've done a lot of play action, short passing, but they haven't found Sargent down the field. They got to test the CSP defense eventually.
Bagor. He is slammed to the turf after a 3-yard gain.
Bagor just shakes off a
Ryan
tackle. Yeah, he shakes off a tackle right at the line of scrimmage and makes it into a 3-yard gain. That's what you want out of a running back. to get extra yards out of that, to turn -2 to 0, to turn 0 to +2. That's a successful. That's how your team stays successful.
First of 3 games today in football, 5 over the course of the weekend in the Carrier Dome. Class A and Class C championship games following this one. In Class D, Begor, burst of speed, first down to the 49, gain of 8.
Again, that's on the right side where they're having success earlier with Begor in the I formation. There's something about that match that they like, and CSP needs to figure it out how they're going to attack that play.
Begor, 746 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns on the season. Has a knack for finding that open hole. Begor, cutback. Good run again. Chopped down this time by Beatman.
These are the types of plays you need if you're the Vikings. Just 4 or 5 yard plays, and eventually you can get a play action and get a big play downfield.
2nd down and 7.
Yeah, let's not forget there was that drive when Moriah really broke off some great runs, but it was marked back on penalties, and then they had the strip sack a couple of drives ago late in the first quarter, but they've started to open up this run game in a big way. Another really good cutback. This time it's Blaze to the first down marker.
When you talk about, as I talked about, they were going to the right side, having a lot of success, then what you do, you go to the other side, the team overcommits, and you have a lot of options at that point where you want to run, and now you keep CSP guessing.
And at some point, you do think they will open it up with a play action and try to capitalize, as you said. But right now, really good 1-2 punch of Dylan Begor and Maddox Blaze. Blaze, just a sophomore who can play a number of different positions, and they confirm, yes, that's a first down.
Talking about the right side of that offensive line earlier, right guard Hunter Cheney and right tackle Alex Laro. How many times have we heard Laro's name today making plays on the other side of the football?
And opening the holes up, especially the last couple of drives. This second quarter's gone by a little bit faster, some longer drives. There's a touchdown from CSP. Barmore, the lone score so far, 32-yard catch, 1st and 10. Blaze again following his fullback. 9-yard gain. Great lead block by Martin May.
This was the same spot that they got to on this side when things started to unravel. So the Vikings needed not take penalties, keep doing what they're doing, and they could find their way in the end zone for 6, unless CSP comes up with some kind of answer. I have yet to see it, though.
That's an answer right there. Overton knocking down Blaze. That time, Moriah picked the pace up a little bit. Got off to a quicker start, broke the huddle quickly. CSP was ready.
Well, Overton timed it perfectly. He was in the backfield as soon as the snap went off. He had a running start. So maybe he figured out the snap count or just, guess and see what happened. He guessed right that time.
Loss of 3, 3rd and 5. I formation. Blaze. Overton again was the first man in there. And now 4th down, you would think that Moriah would be discussing going for this one. It's in that in-between range. A punt might not accomplish very much. Maybe, maybe a pooch punt.
Maybe a pooch punt if you feel really strong about it. Although you had the momentum despite those 2 plays, so I consider taking a shot.
A state title game, you got to go for this.
Moriah.
And they're going to talk about it.
There's the first timeout.
7-0 CSP. 4th down in CSP territory for Moriah. And we'll take the timeout. Welcome back. 4th down and 6 upcoming for Moriah. What do you think is the mindset right now for a team that's in that in-between range and needs 6 yards to keep the drive going?
I think if you're Moriah, I think you have to go for it. I mean, this is a state title game, as you mentioned. You're at your 35. What is a punt going to do for you? If it's good, you put them at the 1. That's about 30 yards you're hoping for on a punt. I think you got to put also the trust in your quarterback and this offense that they can convert. What message do you want to send if you're Coach Tizar right now to your offense, your kids? You want to tell them that I believe in you, we can get this first down.
The team from Essex County and Section 7 steps up to the line for a 4th and 6. Strable kicks Sargent in motion. Strable deep drop. He is swallowed up. The ball is loose. Doesn't matter. Either way, it's a turnover on downs versus just a turnover. Either way, it is CSP ball.
And I believe that was Overton or Eklund who got in the backfield. It was a 20 number.
I think it was Eklund with the strip sack, I believe.
Yeah, with the strip sack. And he's been big this game. And their big players are really stepping up today. Barmore with the reception. Hinsdale throwing the ball. And Eklund running in on defense. He's been the spark plug all year, and he was there.
I think that will go down as the second turnover of the game for Moriah. It looked like it was recovered technically by CSP. You know, sort of the same difference as we were saying. Stiff arm attempt that time didn't quite go as Meter planned. And he's shaken up for the second time here today. Chance Meter after making that catch for a pickup of 4.
Went down a bit awkwardly. He was trying to go for the stiff arm. I guess he was just kind of run up on. And
gotta wonder, or I probably hope would be the word I was looking for, that it's just cramps each of these times. But don't want to speculate. So Meter goes down for the second time here today. And it's 2nd and 6 coming up for CSP.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
Welcome back. Chance Meter is still down in this matchup between Section 6 CSP and Section 7 Moriah. You know, we're here late in the first half, 4:57 to go in the second quarter. The lone score was at the very start of this quarter, 32-yard touchdown completion from CSP quarterback Garrett Hinsdale to 6'4" wide receiver Cameron Barmore. The first half is Meter's got to go all the way, got to get to the near sideline, so not a long walk, but he's moving very slowly, being helped towards the sideline, gets an ovation from the crowd on the near side. This game that so far has featured a combined 5 turnovers, a healthy amount of penalties as well, and the one big scoring play from CSP. Moriah's had some good running plays, but has been unable to finish drives. What have been some of your takeaways so far?
You know, this is a very similar game that Moriah played last week in their Eastern semifinal over Haldane, only winning 6-0, score late in the third quarter. CSP, this is a different ball game. They're used to blowing people out, high-scoring games.
Flag down on the snap. Barmore. He's dragged down right away. Tackle made by Moriah's number 23, Caleb Harris.
You know, and I think the other part of it is, too, I think CSP is showing to be the better team, but I think they're shooting themselves in the foot. Some penalties, and they got some turnovers. Moriah's been able to, move the ball, but they've been shooting themselves in the foot, too.
Yeah, I think CSP's been the more explosive team, but Moriah's had some runs.
Legal motion, offense, 5-yard penalty, replay, second down.
Legal motion call. Moriah's had some drives where the running game has looked like it's come very easily to them. And they've also continued to force turnovers. But I think definitely CSP's been able to gain more yardage with more ease.
Yeah, I would definitely say so, and I think they've proven a better ability to throw the football, too, with Hinsdale, to multiple receivers over the middle. For Moriah, they've just been hitting guys, Sargent along the sideline on play action. They haven't been able to be in the gun and really throw it well.
Looking to shake a player was Overton. And in the open field, brought down to the 41.
Just a quick pass from Hinsdale, a quick release, and he just fits the ball into tight corners that you don't see a lot of quarterbacks do at this level. They may be too afraid to. He really doesn't have that fear. He wants to fit the ball in. Sometimes it hurts him, but usually it works out for him, completing a pass.
3rd and 5. On the outside, it is Eklund. He turned the corner, and Ty Harper, the head coach for CSP, said the key to this game is going to be using our speed and getting athletes in position to make plays. And they got Eklund in the right position.
Yeah, he's certainly an athlete. What did he have in this year? Only played 11 games, but he has almost over 1,100 yards in the ground and 17 touchdowns. He's been the key for them all year on really both sides of the ball.
Hinsdale, the fake, screen pass, it's dropped. Beekman dropped the ball.
Pass intended for Beekman. Incomplete.
That's just a good play by, that's where the height becomes a disadvantage if you're Hinsdale, unfortunately. The linemen are over you, and they maybe make that screen pass a little more difficult for you.
You mentioned Clymer, Sherman, Panama merging 4 years ago. Even before the merger, none of the programs individually had collected any state titles. So both schools, even when you factor in that merger, both teams here today looking for their first ever state championship. That's a net zero right there. On the quick give to Eklund. And some more going on after the play.
Some extracurriculars.
Crowd on the near side getting restless, but that's more, I think, what I'm looking for from the officiating crew in a big game like this. I think you always look for restraint and not wanting to make decisive calls that are unnecessary.
And you got to remember, it's kids, too, and you want to keep them in check, but only 2 points. You want to let them decide the game as well.
I think that's big. In the Class D championship, late in the second quarter, Hinsdale escaping, throwing, tipped incomplete. Swan nearly had another pick for Moriah. Looking.
Oh, we have another flag.
Another flag down.
They're saying holding, I believe. That's the early indication it looks like.
Holding, offense, number 5. Penalty is declined. 4th down. Thank you.
I figure both coaches may have that conversation in the locker room at halftime about eliminating some of those penalties. Either way, you slice it on that play, it was going to be 4th down.
Yeah, at least you're in decent field position for a punt. If you can, this is a good punt range. If you can get a good one, you could possibly pin them inside their 10. And with only 2:51 to go, I don't think Moriah has the offense
CSP,
to take it down the field to score.
Charge timeout.
CSP looking to pin Moriah back deep. 2:51 to go in the first half. 7-0 CSP.
The NFHS Learning Center is the leader in online education for the interscholastic community. At NFHSLearn.com, you can find over 60 courses for coaches, administrators, officials, parents, students, and performing arts programs, including over 25 free courses such as concussion in sports, heat illness prevention, sudden cardiac arrest, and protecting students from abuse. For more information, visit the NFHS Learning Center.
We welcome you back to the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York, where it's the site of all 5 public high school state championship football games this weekend. 3 today and 2 tomorrow. leading off with this Class D championship bout between the CSP Wolfpack and the Moriah Vikings, the 6th seed out of Section 6 versus the 7th seed out of Section 7. Although CSP is the 6th seed in this dance, they right now are the number 1 ranked team by the sports writers, and they're punting it away up 7-0.
Oh, it's
Look
a
out,
fake.
though, it's a fake. Trying to turn the corner. Overton unable to, and he's brought down well shy of the first down. It was interesting there. Definitely fake territory just ahead of midfield, but problem was it was 4th and 11.
Yeah, usually I'm pretty good at sensing when you might see it go for it on 4th down, but I didn't feel it there. You're just too far back. You're talk 4th and 3, 4th and 5. That play would have worked, but just too many, it's too hard from 4th and 11. It'll be interesting to see, I think, for Moriah, if they start to throw the ball with 2:43 to go in the half, if they want to move the ball downfield quicker. Otherwise, I don't know if they're going to be fast enough to get a score in.
Hand off to Begor, and Begor loses one. I just think given that fact, that's why I so expected the punt to happen, especially on a 4th and 11. You figure Moriah, even starting from this yardage, has been unable to finish drives. You pin them all the way back, and then perhaps a chance for CSP to win the field position battle and get one more chance with good field position to go at Moriah. But then again, if they feel like their defense can stop the Vikings anyway, then why not make the gamble? So you could go either way with it. Ty Hopper elected to go for the fake. 2nd and 11.
Oh!
And Blaze is brought down. Good tackle by Hunter Cooper.
Yeah, right upended him, and that's how you beat a big runner like Bugar. Just come right under. That's a textbook tackle that they teach you in the first day of Little Loop.
Now perhaps Moriah willing to let the clock go down a little bit to minimize the risk if they're unable to complete this drive. CSP electing not to burn a timeout here. Moriah content to take a little bit of their time. Strable from the shotgun, and now Moriah will take the timeout.
Timeout, Moriah. That is their second charged timeout.
And with just under 90 seconds to go in the first half, Moriah looks to keep the drive alive, down 7. CSP against Moriah, and it is a 3rd down and 9 for Moriah here with 1:27 to go in the first. AJ Cannell, Francis Beck on NFHS. Strable airing it out for Sargent, can't make the connection. Sargent has been open a few times. Incomplete. 4th down and 9.
And you know he wanted that because he made his way all the way to the corner of the field. He wanted to go in the end zone, but great effort by him. Throw just a little off the mark.
And very early in the game, they were able to spring Sargent free. Mostly had abandoned the passing game later on into the first half. And now Sargent's going to come all the way back and punt this football, too.
Just getting a little jogging.
Great Moriah bounce right there. It's going to be risky to try and pick up. Whoa! Picking that up all the way at the 1-yard line for CSP. That was a risky decision right there by the return man for the Wolfpack.
Either way, you're still at your own 1-yard line.
It was Eklund. Well, exactly. So if he fumbles that, though, then that could be an immediate touchdown.
Yeah.
Mark it up to the 2. This will be interesting here. Moriah, they only have one timeout left, so maybe if you're CSP, just QB sneak this and avoid any type of risk.
Yeah, if
they can run the clock out.
I think you're thinking safety and prevent safety between these two teams right now. Just try to get it out of there.
That's exactly what the Wolfpack do. I mean, they've controlled this first half. Hinsdale takes it straight ahead. There's no reason to really run a real play right now when you can run the clock out because Moriah only has one timeout remaining.
Yeah, we're going to hit about, under 50 seconds before the play clock goes, and you can probably get away with maybe 1-2 more plays, and you just go out the middle. As long as you keep the ball at this point and don't go backwards, you're going to be fine.
Hinsdale, he might just kneel this. He just sort of sneaks it. And Moriah can use their last timeout now just to make CSP snap it one more time. It's worth it, I think, to try and just force some type of fumble on this play if you're Moriah. All CSP has to do is just snap the ball, and we're going to go into halftime. It's a Moriah team that returned only 2 defensive starters from last year. Has improved defensively as the year has gone along. What a story Moriah would be. Already
Legal
is.
formation, offense, penalty decline, 3rd down.
So they lose it. So it looks like they lose a down there.
No, because it was declined. So
why wouldn't you accept that, though?
I think just because that would allow
an extra play. Yeah,
more
I see what
opportunity
you're
for CSP to run that extra play if necessary. It doesn't really matter because, well, you know what? It does matter because of the penalty, even though it was declined,
it stops the clock.
It stops the clock.
Although they take a timeout.
Perhaps it didn't because Moriah has to take the timeout anyway. Interesting. Maybe if the penalty were accepted there, it would stop the clock again.
That is their final timeout.
But with the declined penalty, the clock would be restarted. So Moriah does have to use their final timeout. It's the same story after all of this, which is that Moriah calls the timeout. CSB has to just snap it one more time to send us into halftime. But I was going to say, it's a great story for Moriah after losing their first 2 games of the season, including a 40-6 loss in Week 2 to Peru.
Yeah.
0-2 start.
Lost to Saranac in the first game, 15-8. And then all of a sudden, something happened. They beat Tioker there. I can't pronounce the name. 42-12, then 42-20, 47-21. Just a complete turnaround after Week 2. I want to know what happened in there.
Who would have thought they would arrive here after losing by 34 in their second game of the season and lost in their season opener against Saranac as well. But here at halftime, it is CSP, undefeated, 12-0. They're used to blowing teams out. They're holding on to a 1-touchdown lead here at halftime. 7-0, Clymer, Sherman, Panama in the Class D championship game.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now. Catch your first defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
Where coverage comes first. You're watching WNY News Now. You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I go like this.
The best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I want to encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
The NFHS Learning Center is the leader in online education for the interscholastic community. At NFHSLearn.com, you can find over 60 courses for coaches, administrators, officials, parents, students, and performing arts programs, including over 25 free courses such as concussion in sports, heat illness prevention, sudden cardiac arrest, and protecting students from abuse. For more information, visit the NFHS Learning Center.
Tomorrow at noon, Wolfpack will face off against the 9-2 Moriah Vikings for the Class D football.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
The 12-0 Clymer, Sherman, Panama Wolfpack will face off against the 9-2 Moriah Vikings for the Class D football championship at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. Yesterday, we spoke with Sherman Athletic Director Corey Emery. Emery says all three towns have shown their excitement and support for the team.
It's great. It's great. All three schools have been very excited. The towns have been very supportive, whether it's sending off with the fire trucks and the whole community kind of standing by the roads to pep rallies throughout the schools and walkthroughs just to support the kids. It's a great time, a great environment.
Emery says, despite the stage, the team is conducting business as usual.
They've just been basically, for the coaches aspect, as I've talked to them, it's kind of for them, it's been business as usual, except for, the extra interviews and things of that nature. But mostly it's been business as usual. Hey, let's break down film. Let's get a game plan. Let's keep our kids' heads on straight. They're all very excited, obviously, but at the same time, they know, hey, we got to go out and win a ball game.
The athletic director believes the players are feeling a bit of nerves, as expected. He says they know they're great, and it's only a matter of execution.
Yeah, you could tell they're nervous, but they have a subtle confidence about it, which is nice. They're not overly confident. They're not cocky. They just have that little bit of inside to say, hey, we know we're a darn good team. Let's go out and do what we do, and everything will be all right.
Emery credits the coaching staff for its part in the team's run, despite the fact that the players are from 3 separate school districts.
First, I'll give credit to the coaches. They obviously were, now in year 4 of the whole 3-team combination. We had a couple of years where there were 2 of us together. But they've just kind of got all the kids to buy into, hey, yes, we're from 3 separate schools, but we're one team, one goal. Let's go after it. And actually, most of the time, in terms of the 3 different schools or the 3 different town type of things, kids, they're all best buddies, irregardless of where they come from. It's more adults that may have a problem. And even with this great run, I think even the adults are looking past that, which is a wonderful thing.
Sherman will be offering a viewing party for those who can't make it to the game in person. The party, which will be in the auditorium, is free and concessions will be served.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
Catch your first defense forecast daily on WNY News Now. You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. Catch your first defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
Happy Friday, sports fans, and welcome back to News Now at Noon. I'm Norm Rodriguez with a look at sports. This afternoon at 3 o'clock, the St. Bonaventure Bonnies women's basketball team will be on the road against the Ohio Bobcats. The Lady Bonnies also have a game tomorrow at 5:30 against the Denver Pioneers. In their last game, the Lady Bonnies lost 67-59 to the Hofstra Pride. This afternoon, the red-hot Buffalo Sabres will be hosting the Montreal Canadiens. The Sabres are currently in third place in the Eastern Conference, while Montreal is in fourth place in the same conference. Puck drop will be at 4 o'clock on MSGB. Fans can also watch the game on the NHL app. On Sunday at 1 o'clock, the Bills will be hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Josh Allen is back under center for Buffalo after a 4-game absence. The Bills are coming off of their bye week. Jacksonville is on a 6-game losing skid. The game will be televised on CBS. Fans can also watch the game on the NFL app. Justin and Bronson, back to you.
Where coverage comes first. You're watching WNY News Now.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. Catch your first offense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Just a reminder, kids who participate in high school activities tend to go a little farther than those who don't. Take part. Get set for life. It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
Welcome back to the Class D New York State Public High School Athletic Association State Championship football game inside the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. Alongside Francis Beck, A.J. Cannell, the CSP Wolfpack lead the Moriah Vikings 7-0. Start of the second half. The lone first half score, 32-yard touchdown reception for Cameron Barmore on the pass from Garrett Hinsdale for Clymer, Sherman, Panama. Who kicks off to start the second half with Moriah back deep to receive.
Quick first half stats for CSP. Derek Eklund, 63 yards. Beatman, 17 yards total. And Garrett Hinsdale, 51 yards through the air.
Hinsdale in the CSP victory, 54-19 over Tioga in the semis, had 364 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Been a defensive game today between two teams that have mostly blown out their opponents early and often. But a closer one for the state championship. Both schools looking for their first. Short kick. Maddox Blaze is up to the 43.
This first drive is going to be so important for Moriah. Down by a touchdown, but this sets the tone for the entire game. If they don't, if they're unable to score, and CSP is able to get the ball back quickly, we could be talking about CSP rolling this for the second half, especially if they get a score. But if Moriah is able to really move the ball downfield, not necessarily having to score, but showing some success, we're going to keep being in for a tight game.
The junior quarterback, Strable, hands off to Bagor. He goes ahead for a 2-yard gain. Dylan Bagor, they ran it left that time. Most of their first half success was running towards the right guard.
Yeah, it looks like Bugar just kind of slipped on that one. He kind of, maybe he was trying to turn and didn't have his feet right under him. He kind of fell down. Moriah does get a gain on that play.
Bagor, the undersized back, a senior. So good at finding those holes. This time, Sargent takes the handoff, and he's tripped up. Michael Beatman brings him down for a loss of 2, back to the original line of scrimmage for 3rd and 10.
You know, these defensive linemen aren't very big for CSP, but they're making big plays, just using their speed and athleticism just to get around the tackles that are trying to block them, and they're making plays in the backfield.
Honestly, I don't think the Moriah run game has been bad today. They've had some moments of success with it. They're just going to have to open things up and pass a little more at some point, I think, in order to score points.
And they have the receivers to do it, Don. We talk about Blaze, Sargent, of course.
They're going to do it on 3rd down and 10. Off his back foot, the pass could have been intercepted. Strable's pass attempt, good breakup by Overton on the pass intended for Fleury.
Yeah, just nice job by Overton, getting in front of the ball, not really impeding the pass until the ball actually got to the receiver's hands and making a big play. That's the start you wanted if you're CSP, 3 and out.
Opening it up over the air in obvious passing situations is one thing, but I'd have to see that on early downs to keep the defense honest. So Moriah has a 3 and out on their first possession of the half. Another good bounce this time.
And they're saying he waved it.
But it bounced. Interesting.
Oh, and they're going to... I think that's what they're going to call him on, that he took it after he waved his hands. See what they come out of that.
I just thought once the ball bounced that anything goes at that point, even if you have waved for fair catch.
I think that's what they're discussing at this point.
I've never seen that called on a play where the ball hits the turf.
And that would be a backbreaker if it is called for CSP.
Delay a game after the punt. Number 23 of the offense, 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Wow. So I guess they didn't get him for an illegal move of the football, but I guess they called it a delay of game. I don't know if I'm crazy about that one. They're trying to do their best out there. I'm not super crazy about making that call.
So after that call, it moves the ball back to the 15-yard line. 1st and 10 for CSP. And Eklund is brought down for a loss. Both defensive fronts have had good penetration up to this point. A lot of tackles for loss.
And it's been both in the run game and the pass game, which is impressive. Usually you only see it for one of them, but for these two defenses, it's been both the pass and run. And we'll see which offensive line can step up. Again, the CSP team, they have all 5 seniors on that line. Very experienced.
2nd down and 12. Here is Eklund trying to gain the corner, and he's unable to. Sargent leading the way once again.
Eklund off the right side.
Yeah, I think Eklund just tried to cut inside. I think if he would have stayed outside, he would have gotten a few extra yards, but a good play by that defense. Wrapping up Eklund. They've had a lot of trouble doing that when he's gone to the outside, but they do it there, and now they put CSP in a 3rd and long.
Hinsdale buys himself time. Leaping catch over the middle is made by Barmore at the 40-yard line.
Big play by Barmore. I think, Dan, I was watching the game last week. That was similar to the big one he had in the Western semifinal where he went over the defender's head to make that play, and that's what you get out of having a 6'4" receiver, especially at this level.
.27 yards. Screen pass this time. Good job eluding some tackles and a healthy 1st-yard gain of 7. Overton brought down by Alex Lara.
That's the 2nd time they've gone to that screenplay to Overton, and he's made really something out of nothing. That's going to open up something downfield along to the other side for the CSP team. Just a great play by Overton. That's going to open up a lot for his team.
Wolfpack's first drive of the second half, 12-0, unbeaten coming out of Section 6. Slipping and falling on the play was the intended target of Hinsdale's pass. It was intended for Eklund. And now it's 3rd down and 3.
It's a decision time for Coach Harper. Do they try up the middle? Do they go to the outside, or do they throw it? I personally would like to see them go back inside. You know, they've had trouble earlier in this drive, but with 3rd and 3, I think you got to trust your offensive line, most importantly Eklund, to make the play.
Third quarter in the Carrier Dome. Eklund. Oh, lots of room for Eklund. Sargent does a good job to erase a little bit of that space, but Eklund still is able to get the 1st down at the 50.
Just a great play by Sargent just to try to keep him out. As you said, you know, closing that space. Oh, are they going to knock? They're not going to give him the – oh, no, they are. But that was awfully close. That Sargent almost made the stop there. Eklund just getting over the line. Credit to Eklund for using his wits and his power to get over the 1st down marker.
So 1st down for CSP right at midfield.
Play clock winding down to 6 seconds. Hinsdale's got to be careful.
They usually operate with pace offensively, and now Ty Harper is going to take the precaution of using a timeout
CSP,
instead of
first
using
charge timeout.
Succumbing to a delay of game penalties. So we'll take the timeout right here with CSP 7-0.
Just a reminder, kids who participate in high school activities tend to go a little farther than those who don't. Take part. get set for life.
Welcome back to the Carrier Dome in Syracuse for the Class D championship game. 1st and 10 for CSP. Moriah has been unable to score up to this point. And so any further points from the Wolfpack, you would think would be pretty demoralizing in a game where points have been hard to come by, and any lead at all seems to be worth a ton. Wide open up the middle, big hole for Eklund. All the way to the 34 for a 16-yard gain.
You can tell that's the play that Eklund's been waiting for all game, up the middle, just finding that space up the middle. And that's a play his line needed as well to see that their blocking could do something.
An average of 8.5 yards per carry in the first half. He led the game with 67 yards. Hinsdale rolling, throwing across his body. Pass is caught by Eklund. Eklund turns up the field past the 15-yard line before he is brought down by Sargent. 1st and 10, CSP in the red zone.
What a response by Eklund here. You know, remember that drive started off of the penalty on the punt return, and that they lose the 5 yards for the delay of game. Now he makes 2 back-to-back big plays, actually 3 of them, getting the first down, big run at the middle, and then the big catch here. Now they're deep into Moriah territory.
Hinsdale, way behind the line, is thrown to the turf by Cipher.
Yeah, I think that was Hinsdale getting a little bit of happy feet, but obviously great play by Cipher, beating his man and making the play in the backfield. That's a huge loss for CSP.
Loss of 10. A lot of these drives have stalled out around the red zone for both teams. The lone score, a 32-yard touchdown for Barmore. This is Overton on the outside, flags down behind the play. There are multiple flags on the field. They look like they're both against the offense. Although there could be CSP's pointing their way on one to the near side. There was a flag, I think, for an illegal block or a hold along where Overton caught it on the far side.
Maybe a second one for a late hit on Hinsdale. He looks like he wants a flag.
There's 2 flags down. They could be offsetting penalties.
Holding on the defense, number 75. Block in the back on number 2 on the offense. Those penalties offset. Replay the down, 2nd down.
Indeed, what happens, and that's an overall good enough result.
There's no roughing the passer.
No.
As the argument continues with the referee's official microphone still on. That's funny. Hear a little bit of Garrett Hinsdale. Exactly what his thoughts were, looking for roughing the passer call. I will say respectfully arguing right there.
That's a new one. You don't see that very often or hear the quarterback's voice.
I don't know if all of these refs are used to being mic'd up quite at the level that they usually are here at the Carrier Dome, as Alex Lauro blows that play up. And it's like every time an offense gains traction today, they just start working backwards, like we're playing this game in quicksand right now.
Talk about Jake Carlson. He broke in the backfield and hit Hinsdale. Hinsdale didn't give that away as quick as he did. We're talking about a bigger loss here, or possibly the ball's out.
Third down and 22. Might as well take a couple of shots here, you figure, at the end zone. Hinsdale under pressure again. Cipher with his 2nd sack of the drive.
Again, great play by the defensive line, winning outside and inside. Hinsdale had really nowhere to go to make a play, and that's exactly what you needed if you're Moriah. You get the ball back.
I honestly think here, even though the original line of scrimmage was at the 14, I think you punt here.
Yeah,
I think you punt.
Yeah, and that's what you do with the platoon swap. Momentum, you clearly lost it at this point. Try to pin Moriah deep and see what your defense can do.
And 1st down and 10 at the 14 on the same set of downs, they punt. It's how this game has gone for the offenses. There's a good rush, and Overton has to boom it away from the rush. I think this one is going to go into the end zone. Good decision by Sargent, making the right call on that punt. And so after a 1st and 10 at the 14, on the same set of downs, CSP punts, and Moriah has 1st and 10 coming up from the 20. Timeout.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
Moriah looks to get something going offensively as they search for their first state championship. Here is something for the Vikings. It is up the middle for Swan, a reserve running back on this team that gets some looks and adds a spark now to the Moriah offense. Immediately is able to gain 16 on the first play of the drive.
And you talk about those big plays by Cypher, kind of turning the game around for Moriah. After CSP moved the ball down pretty all down to the 14. Now Moriah has momentum, and they have a chance to tie it here if they can keep moving the football.
Swan again breaking up the middle. 8-yard pickup before Swan was brought down by Swabik. Braden Swan, just a sophomore.
Yeah, looking.
Swan.
It's 167 yards on only 25 carries heading into this game.
He's been a complimentary piece for Moriah. Kind of on the lanky side for a running back. Just a sophomore once again. And they're going with Swan, the offensive line. John Gonzalez, Logan Lane, Hunter Cheney in the middle, opening up some big holes. Fullback give this time. Mark May takes it for a couple. 3rd and 1. Actually was Blaze there playing fullback. They move Blaze everywhere. He's a starting tight end, first of all. Seen handoffs from the tailback spot, now the fullback spot. Of course, he runs routes. 3rd and 1.
Yeah, he's their leading rusher, but most of his film on Huddle is him as a tight end catching passes. So, but they move around all these guys. We said Sargent will go in the backfield to be a tailback. He'll line up as a receiver. Just a lot for this CSP team, for defenses to deal with.
This is Swan. Breaks one in the backfield and gets the first down. Could have been a loss. Instead, they move the chains. And this drive is all about Braden Swan so far.
Yeah, now the momentum is all on Moriah's side. You have about 3 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. Does Coach Harper take a timeout here, try to stop the momentum? Or does he trust his defense to hold off until maybe the end of the quarter and kind of hopefully calms them down? He'll have to make that decision pretty soon.
Moriah, 9 straight victories after beginning their season with 2 losses in a row. Looking to end it with a state championship victory. Swan going nowhere. That's on Eklund. The crazy thing about that as well is that there's a history of this for Moriah. Their last state title game appearance in 2009. They also began that year 0-2 in Section 7. Wound up getting blown out in the state championship for the 2nd straight year. They lost to Randolph in 09, 41-0. 55-7 in 08 against Maple Grove. Their 3rd all-time state title appearance. This time a much closer game for Moriah. 2nd time in a row after starting 0-2. First down connection. Sargent dives past the marker. And Moriah finally starting to incorporate the passing game.
Yeah, and that's what they needed to with a guy like Sargent, who's so quick and elusive and has such a good ball hawking ability. It's important to get him going, and you can find yourself in the end zone if you keep going to him. As I said earlier, Coach Harper needs to make a decision here. When does he try to stop this momentum of Moriah?
Ty Harper, his 5th year as the head coach of CSP. Short pickup that time by Swan. For the most part, it was Bagor and Blaze taking the carries from the tailback position in the first half. It's been Swan, and even into the start of the third quarter, it's been Swan on this drive.
And how important is that, when you get late into the games, late in the season as we are, to have a third and fourth guy who can run the ball? You can give your guys rest, and most importantly, it wears down the other team who has been tackling all day.
Longtime head coach of Moriah, Don Teaser, making that switch on this drive. It's paid dividends so far. Swan once again. Blockers out in front following the fullback May. And Swan gets a few more. Big third down coming up here towards the very end of the third quarter.
Yeah, CSB really unprepared for that toss, and I'm surprised they didn't go for any longer. If you're Moriah, you had green space, but nice job by that CSB defense closing in, only preventing that run from going a few yards. And now you got third and manageable. This is something CSB can do. The CSB can come up with a stop here and kind of hold off some of this momentum.
This could be 4-down territory right now. For the Vikings down 7-0. Looking to pass. Strable. There was contact there. And pass interference will be called. Blaze over the middle. Couple of arguments for CSP could be uncatchable pass and also incidental contact. But Blaze ultimately was trying to run her out there and just got blown up.
I mean, personally, I thought that was incidental contact. The receiver had his head turned towards the field. He didn't see the guy. But I understand the call if you're going to make it.
It's funny because you start to get towards semantics, but then you start wondering, okay, incidental, how much does that matter if ultimately, okay, the defense could argue all day they're not trying to commit the penalty, but at some point, if there's enough contact, you still might have to call it. It's an interesting call right there.
Well, you had Sargent. How much of that is on Sargent not paying attention where he's going? Or the receiver,
Blaze,
I don't know if it was Sargent. Blaze.
There's no penalty for pass interference on the play.
They were having the same discussion we were having. It was close. It was very close. I think it could have gone either way, and they decided to pull the flag, which, again, I don't think you could argue the decision either way. It's just a very tough call there.
It is, and
you made the right call. You were saying to yank the flag.
Yeah, I think, the receiver's not paying attention where he's going. Why is it the defense's fault that there was incidental contact?
About 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. It's 4th and 6. Strable facing pressure. Strable is sacked. Turnover on downs.
That was three. You can't really credit one guy there. That's three guys on the defensive line coming in. One of them is down. I believe that might be Overton.
Overton had the majority of the contact, and he took the brunt of it as he is the one that is down on the field. 28 seconds in the third quarter. Crucial stop by CSP. Turnover on downs and a timeout.
Coaches teach your kids to dream. Coaches teach your kids to overcome. Coaches teach your kids good sportsmanship. Coaches teach your kids proper technique. But who teaches your coaches?
Bobby Overton off under his own power, and look at that. That's not an unfamiliar sight at all. On the first play for CSP, a big loss on the pitch to Beatman. He winds up losing 6.
You wonder what is the choice now for Coach Harper in this offense. They've had trouble, with this defensive line of Moriah. Do you try to go back to a screen again up the middle? They missed on one earlier, but if the receiver would have had it, that would have been a big gain. But I don't know. We'll see what they try to do. They have to figure out something.
This game has been really crazy. Every time you think, oh, that's the backbreaker right there. Okay, that turnover on downs was a huge one. And then immediately CSP, who looked like they had the momentum, and one play later they lose 6 yards, and here we are, second and long. End of the third quarter in Syracuse. 7-0 CSP.
Where coverage comes first. You're watching WNY News Now.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
And the first of 5 public high school title games in the Carrier Dome overall this weekend. With D, A, and C today, Class B and AA tomorrow.
Hinsdale, went out of bounds. I think that's what he intended for. He just kind of very veteran move. Kind of saw nothing was open. Only second down. Throw it away. Live to play another day.
3rd and 16. Hinsdale, the design rollout, throws on the run. Open man, it's caught down the sideline. Still going down towards the 20. Big connection to Svets. Overton making the play all the way down to the 21-yard line for CSP.
I just talked about Hinsdale making a veteran play. He makes another veteran play there. Perfectly thrown ball. He saw his receiver open. Not too much. Right in the right spot.
Around the edge with a flag down. It is Eklund. Gets the first, but flag was down in the holding area.
Now there was 56 of Moriah was grabbing the jersey of the CSP blocker. I don't know maybe if they're calling that or if they saw something else, but that was the only holding I saw personally.
CSP's moving backwards. The chain's starting to move backwards. CSP coaching staff thinking kind of what you were. They don't like that call.
Holding offense number 5, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay, first down. Yeah, I understand.
Goes against the running back, Beatman.
And now CSP, they've taken a few of those penalties so far. They need, they just had momentum. You need to fight that adversity again, keep moving down the field.
As big as that last play was, they're right back in a tough down and distance spot now. So Hinsdale pumps, cuts as he tries to keep it himself, and is slammed down by Ganji.
Again, great job by the defensive line, getting pressure from the outside and the inside. And that's why Hinsdale was able to get no gain. If all that pressure was going from the outside, Hinsdale would have broke it for at least 5 yards. But because there were guys inside, he wasn't able to go anywhere.
Wobbling pass, incomplete, looking for Barmore. CSP looking for a flag. The lone score in this game came early in the second quarter. 32-yard touchdown catch by Cameron Barmore, who is the intended target right there. That's been it. up to this point in the game. Low scoring between two teams that have put points up all year, but the defenses have been the lead today.
You know, here's the question of your coach Harper. Are you thinking maybe run the ball, take some clock, and then see where you are on fourth down and try to go for it? They've had some trouble throwing the football. Maybe a quick draw up the middle will change their fortunes.
At this point, they're at the 30, at that point where it might not make much sense to punt. No matter how long you have to get on fourth down. Bad snap. Flags down as well. Pass is thrown away by Hinsdale. 3 flags on the field right now. That was a mess, that play.
There might have been a snap infraction, meaning the other plays don't happen, but we'll see what they come up with.
Also, CSP lucky that ball didn't get fumbled further away on the bad snap from Hinsdale.
Yeah. CSP still moving back.
Holding on the offense. Penalty is declined. We have illegal shift on the offense. That penalty is also declined, brings up fourth down.
Couple of penalties on CSP. Don Teaser, the Moriah head coach, says we don't need him. We like the 4th and 21.
CSP.
Timeout. CSP going to think things over. Do you punt again? Just from the 30? Do you go for it on a 4th and 20 plus? Well, the scoreboard says 4th and 21. Really, it looks like 4th and 19. But timeout on the field. Welcome back to the Carrier Dome. Francis Beck, A.J. Cannell. And early in the fourth quarter, this is a crucial decision right now on 4th and 19. What do you think?
I think you got to throw it now with the clock not moving. Find something deep. Maybe you go Barmore, take a shot at the end zone.
6'4" wide out on the far side. Barmore with a hook and ladder touchdown. Barmore to Swabic. What a play. CSP. 30 yards.
Talking about saving your best plays for the state championship game. Hook and ladder, but wow, hook and ladder, and then a little toss there. Even looser with the ball was Barmore, but it got to Swabic. Wow. I mean, you talk about back-breaking plays. That might be it.
That might be the dagger in a game where points have been so tough to come by. Dejected-looking Moriah team. A couple of players kneeling, putting their hands over their face as the extra point is good with flags again. So hold on.
Maybe they're saying someone jumped on either side. I'm not sure about that one.
It will go against the offense.
Illegal motion on the extra point. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
Well, regardless, could be time for CSP to start getting their voices warmed up. The Bear Over the Mountain, their customary post-game song, sung to the tune of For He's a Jolly Good Fellow, has been kind of a spirit builder all year. They sing it after victories. They wanted to sing that song in the Carrier Dome on Ernie Davis Legends Field there. One step closer to doing that now after a hook and ladder touchdown. Here's a fake. It's the starting quarterback, Hinsdale, throwing, and incomplete. I don't think that Swabic would have made that in anyway. So the try, no good. 13-0. CSP up by 2 touchdowns. Still early in the fourth quarter, but Moriah looks to get on the comeback trail.
Just a reminder, Kids who participate in high school activities tend to go a little farther than those who don't. Take part. Get set for life.
You're on.
13-0. It's the first game of 5 this weekend in the Carrier Dome, but that could easily wind up being the play of the weekend. A hook and ladder throw from Hinsdale, caught by Cameron Barmore, his top target, who lateraled the ball backward to John Swabick for CSP. The sophomore scores the touchdown to put CSP up by 2 possessions in a game where Moriah has yet to score.
They've probably had that game in their their play in their back pocket for probably what, since week 2, and they pull it out 4th and 15 in the state championship game, and they score a touchdown. Those kids got to be ecstatic right now to pull that off.
Flory having a little bit of trouble there, but eventually cradled the football and had to go down with it. 1st and 10, Moriah at the 29. Now, Moriah has been pumping the run game most of the game, trying to be patient. Their defense finally gave in for the second time, and they're going to have to probably air it out at this point.
I think, and you got to go to Jaron Sargent. He's been big all game. He's been big for you all season. I think you just got to try and go for him deep and hope he makes a play. You see Barmo giving him a lot of respect over on the bottom of your screen. Let's see what he can do.
This is for Sargent. Couldn't reach that one as Strabel was under pressure. Let's also remember, we're going to just talk about the play itself, the hook and ladder, and how impressive it was. Let's not forget, it was on a 4th and 19. So even though CSP had cranked up a big play to Overton earlier on the drive, they still were stuck at 4th and ultra long. Looked like they're going to give the ball back to Moriah again, give Moriah another chance to go tie the game until that hook and ladder.
Just great play call by Coach Harper, very gutsy, and it turned out well for him.
And Moriah reaching into their bag of tricks. Flag down on the snap. Strabel's in trouble again and brought down by Hovey.
There was a flag in the backfield. I don't know if they're going to call an illegal motion. We'll see.
CSP's already saying they want to decline the call, whatever it is. It's like another illegal shift, which has plagued both teams at times.
Legal motion on the offense. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
So now Moriah with their backs really up against the wall.
And now, big question we could ask ourselves in another 60 seconds, does Moriah punt? Even though they're deep in their own end, down 2 scores with 10 minutes to go, they may have to start going for it on 4th down.
Some of their best offense has been their defense today, though, with 3 turnovers forced. Interesting decision. And whenever he's dropped back, Strabel's been really facing a lot of pressure. This time is able to complete the pass for the 1st down and more. Running down the sideline, it is Blaze. Flag down close to the line of scrimmage, and it's a holding on Moriah. So erase all of that on another penalty.
And that's got to be a huge letdown for Moriah, seeing that big gain, especially if you didn't see that flag come down. Now finding out you have to go back and even farther back. Now it's a mind game for Moriah. Coming back 2 scores now with under 10 minutes to go, you haven't been able to put the ball in the end zone. That's really daunting on you.
Offense, number 68, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay 3rd down.
They're going to replay 3rd down and put the ball all the way inside the 15 to the 12. 3rd and about 27. And there's just been not much to cheer about for the fans on the far side, making a 3.5-hour trip from Port Henry in Moriah. 3rd and a long ways to go. And bring them back even further. That's not going to be a safety. Strabel brought back down inside the 5. Was forward progress stopped, but he was brought down ultimately. They'll mark it at the 4. Wound up being tackled in the end zone. And Moriah now with 9 minutes and 30 seconds to go, forced to punt, down by 13.
Well, you could tell in that play, the Wolfpack is hungry. They want this win badly. They wanted that safety so badly. You could tell those fans with their hands above their heads looking for that safety. They didn't quite get it, but they're pinned down inside of their 5, and I wouldn't be surprised to see CSP bring the house on this punt.
The one thing you can't do here when you're already in such a huge advantage is to risk roughing the punter.
Yes.
But if they're able to get that block, that would effectively end the game. Low punt. Takes a decent enough bounce for Moriah just to get the ball to the 41. 37-yard punt. And 9 minutes to go in the game. CSP might have delivered the deciding blow with that hook and ladder, but has a chance to pour more on right now.
And I think if you're Coach Harper, you're going to go with your traditional offset eye offense. Eklund in the back, Beatman as the fullback. And you just go back and forth, Eklund to the outside, Beatman on the inside, and you'll see if you can beat this team really on this drive.
Coming up at 3, Class A title game, West Seneca East against Cornwall Central. Really excited for the Class C title. Susquehanna Valley against Dobbs Ferry at 6. On the toss sweep, Eklund loses a couple. Good play by Caleb Harris. CSP out of Section 6, Moriah from Section 7. You know, Moriah's been saying our defense has gotten better all year as the year has gone along. Can't really fault the defense today. The Vikings offense had been relied upon most of the year, but just fallen silent the last couple of games, really. Barely escaped by Haldane 6-0. Although it's funny because they thought they had a couple of opportunities taken away in that game based off of turnovers and penalties in the red zone. They thought that could have been a bigger deciding scoring margin, but some of those mistakes have translated their way into today's game, really for both teams. But you know, even when Moriah has had chances on deep drives, they've had penalties erase some of their biggest plays. We just saw it in the last drive.
You know, and CSP is not used to being in close games, and you know they responded pretty well in the second half and to have taken this lead.
Play action. Hinsdale in stride, able to complete the pass to Michael Beatman for the first. All the way to the 19. CSP with a player shaken up. Is that the QB there?
I thought I saw Hinsdale up, but I could be wrong.
You say CSP regular season 485 to 116 point margin. Actually, that's their margin coming into this one. That's the QB because they're warming up the backup on the sidelines right now. Well, you hope Hinsdale is okay. The good news for CSP is the work may be done for the offensive side of the ball for the most part.
Roughing the passer.
They will call roughing the passer there. Hinsdale slow to get up, trying to shake the cobwebs out.
Roughing the passer, number 56 on the defense, half the distance to the goal, first down.
John Gonzalez, big ovation for Hinsdale.
Hinsdale, junior on this team, only 6 foot, but he makes up for his lack of height and his preparedness. I was talking to somebody he works with on the side. A quarterback coach kind of helps him as a quarterback coach and in terms of recruiting. And, you know, this kid's spot on. Whatever is asked of him, he does it exactly to the letter of the law. The kind of kid that anybody would want in their football program. Sad. Hopefully he's okay. Kid with a bright future ahead of him.
He has to come out for at least a play. So the backup quarterback, Braden Cook, will at least be in there for this one. Also a junior. Handoff Up the middle. Good carry right there by CSP's Robert Overton. Heard from Zavon Overton, a junior. Robert Overton, a senior, getting his first carry today, I think. Second and goal from just the 3. And they're going to let the backup quarterback, Cook, I think, finish out this drive. With the starter warming up on the sidelines, Hinsdale wants to come back in, I'm sure, and finish the drive. Talking to his coaching staff, and here he goes.
And you can hear how much he means to this program. I mean, you've seen this crowd from CSP. Amazing. I think it's 3.5 hours, possibly 4 hours, the trip out here to Syracuse.
Overton fighting, still fighting. Touchdown, CSP. Robert Overton with the extra effort.
You can tell how much this means to this community. Only 4 years ago, this team was even formed. Nobody even thought of combining these teams 10 years ago. And that they were combined 4 years later, 5 years later, they win a state title. And you can tell Overton hit the backs of everybody in the stands and all of his teammates to get that touchdown.
No good on the extra point. A couple of conversions off the mark for CSP, but running away with this state championship game now is close most of the way, but now it is 19-0.
Coaches teach your kids to dream. Coaches teach your kids to overcome. Coaches teach your kids good sportsmanship. Coaches teach your kids proper technique. But who teaches your coaches?
Robert Overton, a senior running back, comes in late, gets a 3-yard touchdown. 19-0 CSP. The school from Clymer, New York in Chautauqua County near Jamestown. Kind of a midway point, 90 minutes south of Buffalo on the Lake Erie and Pennsylvania edge. 2 hours and change from Pittsburgh, 2 hours from Cleveland. The very edge of New York State.
Clymer, the home of former Michigan State running back J.U. Kalkrick, who is now down the road coaching at Southwestern in Class C.
And this school, ranked number 1 in the polls coming in out of Section 6, is going to win its first ever state championship. Last year, a team that was just, a decent to above average team, finished 6-3, lost in their sectional semis. But Section 6 has performed very well overall in the state titles and in the state tournament. This is the 7th Section 6 team to reach the finals in the last 8 years. The last time a team won it was Randolph, completing a three-peat in 2014. CSP is going to win here today. Cambridge won the last 2 Class D titles. Tioga won in 2015. It'll be CSP in 2018, barring an absolute miracle. That kick is going to go out. First score came from Cameron Barmore. 7-0 was the score for much of the game.
Kick infraction on the kicking team. Moriah has elected to re-kick. Please spot the ball at the 35.
32-yard touchdown reception got CSP on the board at the start of the second quarter. 7-0 the majority of the way after that. Then, after the teams were stalemating for a while, 4th and 19 from the 30, hook and ladder touchdown for CSP. Hinsdale to Barmore to the lateral to Swabic. And then the exclamation point, the rushing score from Overton in the next drive after that. Here we are, 19-0. The game has been much closer than that for most of it. And Moriah, though, is primed to fall for the third time in 3 tries under Don Teaser in the state title.
All to a Section 6 team.
Good run by Sargent, getting all the way out towards midfield. And yeah, if Moriah can't put some points on the board, we mentioned how they lost 41-0 in 09. They lost 55-7 in 2008. They just have not been able to find much luck in the state championships overall now in program history. This is now a team that has been outscored 115-7 in 3 state championship games. And of course, I mean, that you think about that, okay, they've been blown out a few times, but when you're a team that makes the state championship, obviously you have high expectations of yourself, and to lose by that much is very disappointing.
Yeah, I think it shows the disparity, at least in the western side versus the eastern side in Class D. And if this continues for Section 6, they only have 4 teams as it currently stands. So CSP could find themselves here yearly or biannually.
Pass is complete. Braden Swan to the 35. Certainly would be nice for somebody to get in the end zone for Moriah, get to celebrate a touchdown here in the Carrier Dome.
Yeah, a lot of guys who are going to be finishing out their careers, and they bring some guys back as well. You talk about Sargent. He could vary it.
Timeout.
The performance we saw here of him today, I wouldn't be surprised if you see him in the next level, whether it's playing football or some other sport. Certainly could play the next level.
He's a real athlete. Strayble's a junior. They bring the quarterback back next year. As you mentioned, Sargent playing his final game and a timeout, 19-0.
Coaches teach your kids to dream. Coaches teach your kids to overcome. Coaches teach your kids good sportsmanship. Coaches teach your kids proper technique. But who teaches your coaches?
Latter stages of this one. Just the first of 3 today in the Carrier Dome. This is the Class D state championship game. Braden Swan, nice job bouncing off of the tackle. And Swan has given Moriah such a burst in the second half. Moriah going no huddle, hurry up right now. Never know with an onside kick late. We've seen, I mean, if you're on social media these days, you've definitely seen a couple of crazy viral endings, whether it be back and forth Hail Marys or consecutive onside kick recoveries. So you never want to rule anything out. And Moriah's going to keep on playing to the finish here. This time Strable has a lot of time. And the pass is caught. Fleury still twisting around. And he looks like he might have the first down to the 11. Where has this been from Moriah in the passing game today? Perhaps part of it is CSP's mentality on defense right now. They have backed off a little bit, you would think.
Yeah, at this point in the game, you let them back. Don't let anything behind you. And if they're going to make their way down the field, they're going to have to work for it and take some time off the clock.
Going across his body, Strable gets hit as he throws. It's incomplete, intended for Swan. Clock stops with 5:37, but just thought when this game was for the taking earlier on, we were kind of, and look, we haven't seen this Moriah team play all year like their fans have and their coaches have in terms of that familiarity level about what makes them tick, but it seemed like this game was begging for a couple of more passing plays and shots down the field looking for Sargent. They missed on a couple, but they were close. A lot of pressure here. Strable rolling out, throws through the hands of Sargent, and it is third down. But Moriah's passing game has looked capable when they've gone to it. Just earlier in the game when it was a close game, they stuck with the run, which worked at times, but they weren't able to quite get where they had to with that.
The thing is, in Coach Taylor's defense, I would say, the defensive line has been really strong, especially defending the pass.
Yeah, it's been a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. Strable hasn't had a ton of time.
Yeah. He has faced pressure, especially in the second half. as he does here, lobbing it for Sargent. Sargent boxes out, makes the catch. Will be short of the line to gain for the first down, but create some more options here on a 4th down and short for Moriah. From the 4, they need, looks like about the 1.5-yard line for the first. Well, needless to say, got to have this one.
Yeah, it'd be nice to go home and at least you have a score in your belt in the state championship game.
Pass is tipped and caught by Sargent. A little personal tip drill for the senior receiver to give himself a highlight here in the Carrier Dome. Touchdown, Moriah. They score for the first time today.
And that's a play he deserved. He's been playing so well this season. A ball hawk all year, and he was kind of a ball hawk there, picking it up on the tip. And, he won't be too happy after this one's over, but at least he'll have that memory to go home with.
Well, here it makes sense probably to go for 2 because theoretically, if you do the math out in a wild scenario where they come back, you could get 8 plus 8 is 16 and then be a field goal away. Strable throwing and broken up on the pass intended for Sargent by Swabik, the defensive play. So you can nix that scenario as Moriah is down 13 with 5:20 to go. You would think an onside kick would be coming right up here.
Yeah, and Coach Harper's better has his team prepared for it. I see there's the special teams coach out near the numbers. I'm sure that's what he's telling his team, prepare for the onside kick at this point and get the ball back.
There's still enough time where if Moriah gets the ball back soon, they looked very good in that offensive drive, and they do have all 3 of their timeouts left. So theoretically, if you're mapping out a path, which obviously is unlikely, if Moriah could recover 1 onside kick and score, they would have the ammunition to stop the clock on a set of downs once as well with the 3 timeouts. So we'll see. It looks certainly like it's been game in hand for CSP, but theoretically Moriah is still alive with the 3 timeouts kind of helping matters a little bit.
But you wonder also defensively, you probably change your mentality at this point and you say, hey guys, it's not over. We got some business to do. And you would hope that defense is veteran enough to turn it back on if they have turned it off a little bit.
Yeah, they kind of laid back a little bit on that drive, that's for sure. So it'd be interesting to see if Moriah could keep it going if they got the ball back again or if CSP would buckle down. But you would have to believe, searching for their first state championship, that an onside kick would be coming right now. Turf, not a bad place to get a funny bounce here. So we'll see. Who's going to kick this is a question, too. Straight up the middle, and a flag is down for offsides, it looks like. It's going to allow them to kick again, just from a slightly worse field position.
Encroachment, kicking team, 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, I think Moriah was trying to get a little too cute with who would be the kicker, and I think they confused themselves more than they did CSP on that play. And now CSP knows what's coming, or they have to go to a more traditional onside kick.
They just huddled up and decided what to do. Can you just do the same thing again now that they've already showed their hand, or can you change the call here? They have not really chatted together as a team, so you have to imagine the same thing is coming. It is high bounce. That's an easy bounce. That first onside kick was a little bit of an easier or a more difficult one for CSP to handle. That time around, though, right into the breadbasket of Reese Bates, senior for CSP. 5:19 to play.
An important thing on onside kicks, the reason why the kicker puts them right in the turf, because if they go straight in the air, the returner has the ability to fair catch it, and so if you get hit, it's a penalty. So that's why you put them right in the turf if you're the kicker. But obviously, great play by CSP, just recovering it right to them, just go straight down. That's what you're taught to do. Keep the ball.
So now Moriah has their 3 timeouts. They need an immediate stop, maybe a turnover on defense. Good effort by Eklund. Derek Eklund keeping the play alive.
What a cap to his high school career today. Between all those catches And all those yards in the ground, those tosses to the outside, he has a lot to be happy for when he goes home on the bus home tonight.
No timeout used yet by Moriah. Flag down. Eklund again. Ripped down close to the marker, but a flag in the holding area might help for Moriah. Game 2 of the day, less than 30 minutes away. West Seneca East against Cornwall Central in Class A.
You know, another thing about, because Section 6 Class D was only 4 teams, CSP had to play each of 2 of their opponents twice and 2 of them 3 times. And they say the hardest thing to do in football is beat a team 3 times, and they did that twice. And that's a credit to the CSP team for staying grounded. You know, we talk about 13 games. That's a long season compared to most teams. If you don't make it past the playoffs, you're only talking 7-8 weeks. This is almost twice that.
Team that previously under their current head coach, Ty Harper, went 14-20 during his first 4 years. This is year 5, and they're about to be 13-0 state champs, it looks like. Gain some of the yardage back on the penalty. Beatman. And now with 4 minutes to go, Moriah uses their first timeout.
Moriah. That is the first timeout.
With 3rd and 17 upcoming. Moriah looking to come back desperately late, but CSP has been in control, 19-6.
Watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Here's cruising towards their first ever state championship. They're able to get, a senior and Robert Overton some reps late in the game, get him a touchdown. Eklund breaking free a little bit here before finally being ripped down by Miles Medill. And also in the game right now at tackle.
Moriah.
Timeout, Moriah.
Second charge, timeout.
The game, a tackle for CSP. Sally Watson, a junior, and the lone female member of either team. And one of the few, you would have to say, in New York State high school football. Really impressive. She's in the game right now.
Yeah, and that's just wonderful for the game of football, for this community. I'm sure, she's been working hard just like the rest of her teammates all year long. Probably didn't get a whole ton of snaps, but to get some snaps late in this state championship game at the Carrier Dome. How many greats have played in this field? I was looking outside. We have Marvin Harrison, Donovan McNabb, all these NFL players, great NFL players, Hall of Famers, and she gets to step on this field.
It's a thrill for all these players. And now a punt coming up for CSP. Ooh, close to a block there. Oh, flag comes down. So the ball down inside the 10, and flag was called. Now, will it be roughing or running into is going to be an important distinction here.
It's about 4th and 8, and I think if it's just the running into, I think you'd...
Running into the kicker. Penalty is declined. First down.
Yeah, I mean, I hardly even, to be honest, thought there was very much contact at all there. Just a little bit. But the penalty gets declined anyway. And so now 3:43, and makes sense here to decline that because the punt effectively pinned Moriah back. They're already down by 2 touchdowns. They got to go to score the first of those two over 90 yards. And they only have one timeout left now, so they're going to have to score and then convert an onside kick.
And they've probably shown their hand at this point in terms of what they can do with their passing game out of that 4 wide receiver set they're in. So CSP is going to kind of know what's coming.
Pass, risky one, incomplete. Intended target was Swan again, who's playing a factor on the previous drive as a receiver.
It looks like it was Beatman on the coverage there, almost coming up with the interception
that was
on
close.
the comeback route.
Fans, I think, starting to filter in for the upcoming action. Pump fake. Strebel, rather, in trouble, and he's wrapped up. Loses a few. 3rd and long. Maybe a good point there that after last drive, Moriah had some success in the passing game. CSP kind of knew it was coming a little bit here. And even tougher so with the team backed all the way up. Need a big play right now if you're Moriah. Going to have to really break one off. And a miscommunication leads to a pick 6. Touchdown, Michael Beatman. One more score for CSP.
What a heck of a game he's had. We talked about Eklund before. The game he's had, Beatman has been playing pretty well too on the defensive side of the ball, and he finished his day off with a nice pick 6. This CSP crowd is happy about that for sure.
The team that outscored opponents coming into this matchup 485 to 116 on the season, and a perfect year will end perfectly in the Carrier Dome. The Wolfpack continue to run away from the Vikings of Moriah. The kick is good. Extra point sent through by Svets. 26-6, under 3 minutes to go. CSP headed towards their first state title. So today, all about the Clymer, Sherman, Panama, Wolfpack. Team that has never won a state title before, even before the programs merged, which was just 4 years ago. So it's amazing, too, how they've all come together so quickly. Clymer, Central, Sherman, and Panama, and formed this great program in less than 5 years since the schools merged, and now headed towards a state title.
And you know what? These guys are rivals. In a few weeks, they're going to be playing against each other in basketball, and they're going to be back to being rivals. But, for the fall season, they've been able to come together, and look what they've created. A state title winning team and something for their communities to be proud of.
It's got to be kind of a trip, right? When you're going through this experience with each other. State champions together, and then all of a sudden thrown back into the mix against each other in different sports.
Yeah, there'll be some interesting basketball games and baseball games in the spring between these guys. A lot to look forward to for them, but right now I think they're going to enjoy being friends.
Good place to enjoy it in Syracuse, making the trip up. Headed towards the state championship. Again, assistant coach Chris Payne came up with an idea of singing a song called The Bear Over the Mountain. It's been their tradition post-game. And they're going to open up in song in just minutes now. Song to the tune of For He's a Jolly Good Fellow. Maybe a little bit cheesy, I'll admit, but really cool. The players really buy into it, and it's been a huge spirit builder throughout the season, and they're going to be loving getting to sing that song in front of their fans at the end of this state championship victory. Another turnover forced as Strabel brought down from behind, and CSP comes up with the ball.
That was a big man who came up with it. 68. That'll be... Oh, we don't have a 68 on our roster, unfortunately.
Might have been Stephen Ryan, 66.
Good for the big man. You're making a big play.
CSP forcing another turnover. Had a couple in a row now. At this point, just looking to play out the string here. It's academic from here, and Wolfpack, I think, could just run this clock out now.
You know, AJ, you brought up a good point earlier before the change of possession about, you know, the song, you know, that they sing at the end of the game. You know, that's something you need when you're bringing together rivals, really, in a couple years. What do you need? This team needs an identity as one thing beyond just being the Wolfpack, and I think that song probably helped them do it. It's something that really no one else in the section does. I don't know of any other team that does that in high school, and it really brought this team together.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big deal when you're kind of looking forward to getting a chance to sing that song here. It's been part of the motivation, and they're about to. 90 seconds now to go. And get some of the reserves in, get some more people some chances.
And this is what high school football is all about, getting everybody a chance. I mean, you have to have your starters playing when it's important, but you know, when the game is over, getting your guys who were on the practice squad, taking those hits all season long, thinking back to August when it was 80 degrees, beating down, wearing all that equipment, and right now it's all worth it for all those kids.
Backup quarterback Braden Cook taking the snaps on this final drive. Well, that's what happens sometimes when the reserves come in. Hickman gets slammed. He got to have a personal meet and greet with the Ernie Davis Legends Field turf right there. Got to experience it like no other inside the Carrier Dome.
Well, you want to play football? This is what football's about. Now he's in the game. You know, Andrew Luck says, I think he has to get popped before he feels like he's in the game. Well, he certainly got popped, so he can say he's really a part of the state championship game and this team.
One more snap coming up for CSP. This is 4th and 1. You have to convert to keep the clock going. There's a flag down. Why not just toss in one more flag? With 7 seconds to go, the carry got the first down, but there's a penalty on CSP. So Moriah is going to have to accept the penalty. Because why wouldn't you? It'll send CSP back. I guess they could decline it. That would end the. I guess it would effectively end the game.
Legal motion on the offense. 5-yard penalty, replay, 4th down.
Well, they'll accept and make CSP replay it with 7 seconds on the clock.
And this crowd now is on their feet, almost taking up the entire sideline of this stadium. And that's it.
That'll do it. A program that existed only 4 years ago until now. It merged together 4 years ago. Clymer, Sherman, Panama. Your Class D state champion. Coming out of Section 6, their first ever state title in their first ever appearance. Moriah falls in their 3rd state championship appearance. They're 0-3 now in state title games. 26-6 is your final. The deciding blow might have been that hook and lateral early in the 4th quarter to make it 13-0 on a 30-yard hook and ladder touchdown. CSP, their first ever state championship win. Newly created program, 26-6 win.
Yeah, You know, I've seen this, talk to this team all year long, being from Section 6, and they were the favorites all year long. They had the #1 ranking for a long time, and they, kept it. They kept it, and they showed why all season long. They came up to Buffalo. The first time I really saw them in person was Week 5 when they faced Class B's Depew, and they handled them pretty well. Depew, not a strong team in Class B, but still that's a significant school size change, and it came down to the line play. It was really strong. Again, this CSP team, 5 seniors on that offensive line. You can't tell me that it's something to do with this. As we talked about earlier, it's a long season. They had a target on their backs from the very beginning of the season, and they took every punch well, including today when it was a back-and-forth, low-scoring game.
At this time, we ask the teams, please line up with their respective national.
Right now, they're going to go to the trophy presentation. I think we're going to take a break here and let them do the trophy presentation, and then we're going to have an interview down on the field with Frank Wolf coming up. 26-6, CSP prevails in the state championship.
Where coverage comes first. You're watching WNY News Now.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
Catch your first defense forecast daily on WNY News Now. With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Coaches teach your kids good sportsmanship. Coaches teach your kids proper technique. But who teaches your coaches?
I go like this.
The best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I want to encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
The NFHS Learning Center is the leader in online education for the interscholastic community. At NFHSLearn.com, you can find over 60 courses for coaches, administrators, officials, parents, students, and performing arts programs, including over 25 free courses such as concussion in sports, heat illness prevention, sudden cardiac arrest, and protecting students from abuse. For more information, visit the NFHS Learning Center.
Just a reminder, kids who participate in high school activities tend to go a little farther than those who don't. Take part. Get set for life. It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
Coaches teach your kids to dream. Coaches teach your kids to overcome. Coaches teach your kids good sportsmanship. Coaches teach your kids proper technique. But who teaches your coaches?
I go like this.
The best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I would encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
The NFHS Learning Center is the leader in online education for the interscholastic community. At NFHSLearn.com, you can find over 60 courses for coaches, administrators, officials, parents, students, and performing arts programs, including over 25 free courses such as concussion in sports, heat illness prevention, sudden cardiac arrest, and protecting students from abuse. For more information, visit the NFHS Learning Center.
No, he's ready. Running back, QB is 9. Running back is 19.
where coverage comes first. You're watching WNY News Now.